Hey, hi guys, you alright? So this is AC 1.3. Yay, we finished 1.2. Thanks for your controlled assessment stuff for 1.2. On the whole, really good. Just remember those conclusions and always link to usefulness. That's kind of the best tip to come. So we're moving on to 1.3. This is all about how evidence is processed. The work on here today is enough for 2 lessons, okay? Because I think you'll really like kind of delving into how this is done. So you have today's session and the next one. So what do we need to do here? So the idea is that you have an understanding of how different types of evidence are collected and processed. The 2 types of evidence are physical and testimonial. There's a lot more in physical than testimonial. Do you know what testimonial means? It means someone's verbal account. Okay, so for each of these, we need to know how we collect it, how we transfer it, how we store it, how we analyse it, and then the personnel involved. And then what we'll do is then link it all to some cases. You should know of 3 of these already, definitely 2. We've definitely done Sally Clark and Amanda Knox. Some of you may have chosen to do Barry George, but Angela Canning's I think is a new one for us all. So we need to look at some of the issues that happened in the evidence. But we'll do that later on. So this is just a 6-mark criteria. There is still quite a bit to do for it. Okay. So when we get to the control assessment, it's just making sure we do it in a time period so we can condense what we know. Also, I said before, we haven't seen the briefs for Unit 3 yet because they were changing them. They were due out last week and they still haven't sent us. So not that I can share them with you anyway, but I would know how many we would need to focus on more. So we're going to stick with what was done before, and it definitely won't be increased, that's for certain. So we'll have a really good kind of idea of what we need to do. Okay, so this is just describing, explaining the criteria. No evaluation now for this bit, which is good after all the stuff we've been doing so far in Unit 3. So first of all, what I'd like to do is pause the video and read each of the scenarios and work out what evidence you think you might be able to find, and then how you would think about actually trying to collect it all. Like, don't go overboard on this. Like, I'm not looking for essays, but just think about how you would have to do it from what we've done already for the kind of the people involved. So you should have some kind of idea of what might happen already. Okay. So please stop this, and do this. Thank you all. So, kind of moving on to the kind of criteria. So evidence is just so important. Okay, it is like the key component of most cases, and if we don't collect it properly, store it properly, transfer it properly, analyze it properly, we can't use the evidence in court. Okay, because it could be contaminated. So the spec asks us to look at physical evidence, so what you can collect at the scene, and then what people say. We're focusing on physical evidence for today and the next session. Okay, and like I said, it just has to be done correctly. If you do not follow the procedure, you can't use this in court. So it's a term we're going to be using quite a bit in this criteria. Is admissible in court. Admissible means you can use it. Inadmissible means you cannot use it. So for example, when we get onto like what people say, if you kind of say like, oh, it's not like, so if you say, oh, my mate Bob said this, you can't use that. You can't use it if you've heard it from an illegal wiretap. Okay, so if you do not collect evidence, really good. If you've watched Making a Murderer, a lot of the evidence may have been contaminated that the jury heard. So watch those and you'll see a little bit more about that if you're bored. So what's this all based on? So the legend Edmund Lecord was like the godfather of forensic science, and basically his main principle was every contact leaves a trace. So if an offender or a victim has touched anything, done anything, we should be able to find it. I think this sums it up better. Okay, if you think about everything you could collect. So read what Paul Kirker, forensic scientist, has kind of said there. I've just taken a picture from a textbook. I couldn't be bothered to write it out. Probably would have been quicker to write it out. Source. So, just to kind of get you getting into a bit more thinking of this, YouTube search how makeup helped this chemist catch a killer and answer these 8 questions, and this will really help your understanding of the principle of trace. Okay, so do pause it and do that. Okay, so every type of evidence has its different methods. Okay, depending on what it is, and obviously we need to collect it, put it in things. We need to take it to different places. Different people need to do it. So our kind of job is really to kind of check up on who would be and how it would be done. So previously asked you to kind of think about what kind of evidence you could have here. These are the kind of the main ones. Oh, sorry, my hay fever eyes. These are the main kind of types of evidence that we can kind of collect. Okay, so blood, semen, hair, insects. We've kind of touched on that before. Clothing material, fingerprints, shoe prints, bite marks. There's really interesting stuff on the Innocent Project website about how bite marks may not be as conclusive as we once thought. So Innocence Project, and you'll see on there. Ballistics is guns, toxicology, any kind of substance, and obviously DNA. Okay, so there's lots to go through. So what you need to adding on to what you've kind of done already, what do you need to do? So you need to pick 4 of the types of physical evidence. Okay, and you need to basically you need to answer these questions. So you've got the 4 headings. Okay, collection, transfer, storage, and analysis. So on collection, when is the evidence collected? Is it time sensitive? How is it collected? Who does this? What happens if you don't do it carefully? On the transfer, what do they put it in? How do they transport it? Storage, where do they do it? What kind of conditions does it need to be in? Then analysis, who's doing it and how is it done? So resources wise, there's a website which you can't see, but the link will work, called Explore Forensic, which kind of goes into this. I will attach something called a Scene of Crime Handbook, which is a textbook, a part of a textbook, which kind of tells you how to do everything. There's loads more information on Moodle, okay, as well. So you can kind of just delve into this. Okay, as I said, you've got 2 examples. On the next slide, I've briefly done an example for you. You need to do it more than this. This is the idea. Okay, so this is bite marks. Okay, so after separated, you guys are a lot more imaginative than me. You can do this any way you want. Make it pretty. Make the headings clear. Make sure you've got the 5 things: collection, transfer, storage, analysis, and then talk about who in between. So you've got who's collecting it, who's analysing it, storage and transfer as well. Okay. As always, I'll be on Teams during the sessions. Please talk to me, guys. Please. You know I'm there to help you. And later on in the week, we will start talking about how Return to College will be working for those of us who will be going back.